The day Alara reclaimed her mind. Alara felt it every morning. A persistent dull ache behind her eyes, a heavy fog that clung to her thoughts even after 8 hours of sleep. Her days were a blur of notifications, deadlines, and a relentless inner critic. She was doing everything right, working hard, maintaining friendships, exercising, yet she felt perpetually drained, overwhelmed, and disconnected. Her mind, once a vibrant garden of ideas, had become an overgrown thicket of worries and anxieties. One particularly frantic Tuesday, after spilling her coffee for the third time and snapping at a kind colleague, Alara hit her breaking point. She stumbled out of the office early, the city noise pressing in on her. "I can't go on like this," she whispered to herself. "My mind needs a reset." The thought was a sudden, clear beacon in the fog. She remembered an old article about digital detoxes. That night, instead of mindless scrolling, she charged her phone in another room. The silence was jarring at first, almost deafening. But then a subtle shift occurred. Without the constant hum of alerts, her breath deepened. She noticed the quiet purr of her refrigerator, the distant sirens that faded into the background. For the first time in weeks, her mind wasn't chasing 1,000 digital rabbits. The next morning, the fog felt a little thinner. Alara decided to take a walk in a nearby park, something she hadn't done in months, always citing no time. As she walked, she focused on her senses. The crisp autumn air on her skin, the earthy smell of damp leaves, the distant chatter of children playing. She wasn't planning her next meeting or replaying an awkward conversation. She was simply there. This simple act of mindful presence was like a soft broom sweeping away the mental debris. She also started a mindful moment practice. Instead of gulping down her morning tea, she'd savor each sip, feeling the warmth, tasting the flavor. Before starting a task, she'd take 3 deep, slow breaths. These small, deliberate acts of pausing were like tiny reboots throughout her day, preventing the buildup of mental strain. Slowly, Alara began to reclaim her mental space. She learned that a mind reset wasn't a one-off event, but a series of conscious choices. She started decluttering her apartment, noticing how a tidy space brought clarity to her thoughts. She rediscovered her love for painting, losing herself for hours in the flow of creation, her phone forgotten. The shift wasn't dramatic overnight, but it was profound. The constant hum of anxiety quieted. The inner critic's voice softened. She felt more connected to herself, more present in her conversations, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Alara realized that her mind wasn't a machine that had to run at full throttle until it broke down. It was a garden that needed tending, pruning, and periods of quiet rest. One evening, as she watched the sunset paint the sky in fiery hues, a deep sense of peace washed over her. Her phone was in the other room, her thoughts were calm, and the heavy fog was gone. She had learned the most valuable lesson, that the power to reset her mind, to find clarity and well-being, had always been within her, waiting to be activated.